Hello, my name is Raymond Karchevsky, and this is coming to you from my home here in Cave Junction, Oregon. The subject is the sovereign individual standing in truth supersedes fictional government mired in illusion. Most of you who hear this simple statement will rail against such simplicity. The fact is, and always has been, that illusion, the appearance, is woven by satanic manipulation, which has bound man's intellect since man's fall from grace, his devolution from holistic awareness, that his direct perception of truth, that which is called Christ consciousness, to satanic, managed, remote-controlled, manipulated intellectual conditioning, is the source of all conflict experienced in society. It makes for hell on earth, and is accepted by hypnotically entranced sheeple as being the normal state of consciousness. If one reads my 15-year history of writing on the internet, they shall see the effect of a nobody, a simple man of truth, a Christ, has upon the satanic powers of illusion administered by a legion of anonymous, cowardly, institutionally backed disinformation agents. Such overwhelming evidence can be found on my website's many linked pages at arkenterprises.com and in Google Archives. As to the issue of truth of my simple position and its lawful superiority over illusion-wielding fictional government officials operating in commerce, there remains no dispute. See the state of Oregon, Josephine County, Raymond Karchevsky, and the 10 foundational maxims of commerce at www.arkenterprises.com/DIALCH80.htmL #state in all capital letters. Pay attention to maxim number 3. It says, in commerce, truth is sovereign. Number 4, truth is expressed by means of an affidavit. Number 5, an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth in commerce. Number 6, an unrebutted affidavit becomes the judgment in commerce. Number 8, he who leaves the field of battle first loses by default. Number 9, sacrifice is the measure of credibility. If one has neither been damaged nor incurred a risk, and is unwilling to swear an affidavit that is true, correct, and complete, the commercial equivalent of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, on his unlimited commercial liability for the veracity of his statements and the legitimacy of his actions, he has no credibility, and therefore no basis for asserting claims, charges, or claiming authority. Number 10. A lien or claim can be satisfied only through rebuttal by counter-affidavit, point for point, resolution by a jury, or payment. That is their own law, and they have been judged by their own multiple defaults. There is nothing for a court to decide, as no controversy exists. by their default, they have repeatedly and abundantly submitted to the truth of my position. See www.arkenterprises.com/tortjoco, tortjoco.html. My position as a simple man of truth, a Christ, is no different from that of my spiritual brother Jesus of Nazareth some 2,000 years ago, who dealt with and exposed the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the money changers of his time, as I have the public officials, the lawyers, the bankers of my time. My approach to life is to follow God's law, do no harm. However, satanic temptations, which have through millennia enticed an exodus of masses away from such a simple way of living, remains to be the spiritual test for all children of God. The last 9 years of my life have been lived to demonstrate that fictional government, created by sovereign people, have no power over living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient, natural men and women of the sovereign people, its creator. The proof remains in the fact that no one from the state of Oregon and county of Josephine, political offices and courts, will answer the question, does fictional government, the courts, have jurisdiction over any living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient, natural man, who is not a member of the corporate de facto government, and has not consented to grant jurisdiction to such an unconstitutional court. That is the reason they, the courts of Josephine County, convicted the juristic person in 2 trials, yet threw me out of jail when I refused to accept their offer of sentencing. They had not proven jurisdiction over this living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient, natural man, over some 22+ hearings and 2 trials. Hell, their own law, Cruden versus Neal, 2 NC 338, 1796, 2 SE 70, going back to 1796, states, there every man is independent of all laws, except those prescribed by nature. He is not bound by any institutions formed by his fellow man without his consent. That means that corporate administrative rules, regulations, and legislation do not apply to non-corporate natural people who stand in common law and in full legal capacity as one of the sovereign people. Yet look at our nation today. Millions of blind, conditioned believers are enslaved by their own ignorance. Hell, isn't it? To the public officials of the state of Oregon and county of Josephine, your days of stonewalling a simple man of truth are over. I expect to see you at the negotiating table. Do not be so foolish so as to ignore the change in the political climate amongst the people you have chosen to tyrannize. You can kill a man, but you can't kill truth.